so let's take this sound now and add some effects to it. I've selected sound, I've selected modules. I'm not in browse mode at the moment. The first module slot is the instrument. We've had a quick look at how we can augment some of the parameters of the sampling instrument. The next module slot along, there's actually already an effect loaded in there. It's called a chorus. As soon as I press that, the rotary controls become the parameters for that effect. So just be aware that if there's more than 8 parameters for effect, you might have to move over to page 2. There's only 3 controls in this case. Just have a quick listen to what effect the chorus is having on the sound. That's without chorus. A nice balance of all 3 controls there, and it's just making that sound appear a little bit larger than life. And turn down the overall volume output. Let's move over to slot number 3. So I press that, and then I can press browse mode. And then I can start to add some effects into the remaining 2 module slots. So from the first rotary control, we need to select effects. Obviously, we made sure that sound is selected, button number 3. So I'm going to select effects. Under bank, I'm going to select factory effects. And then under the type column, those are all the different effects that you've got available to you. Let me go for an actual filter device. I'm just going to load the first one. That's loaded, so I can come out of browse mode, and then you see all the parameters for the filter. Now the way this is different from the filter that we just looked at is that it's actually modulating according to the incoming signal. So you can hear every time there's a new synth note, the filter sort of quickly opens and closes. We can adjust the extent to which that's happening with this modulation control. That's quite a nice effect. Let's move over to module slot number 4 now. Browse. It's probably remember the same settings, but remember effects, factory effects, then you can choose your device here. Let's go for something called lo-fi. Come out of browse mode, and then we can affect the extent of that effect using the controls here. Now if you've added an effect and you don't actually like what it's doing, you could temporarily disable it by holding the shift button and pressing the relevant module slot. Like that, and pressing it again to reactivate it. To get rid of it altogether, hold a raise and press the relevant module slot, and that will remove that effect from that slot. Try something slightly different. So module slot number 4, the last remaining free slot, hit browse. Instead of lo-fi, let's go for the first one off the list, beat delay. I'm going to load that. Solo that group again. So again, you've got a mix control. There's the original signal. There's the delayed signal. So you can hear a delay gives you repetitions of a sound at specific intervals. You can choose how big those intervals are and how many repetitions of the sound you get. This device has 2 pages, so you might need to switch between 2 pages of parameters. So that's what the delay is doing. If I just start and stop the sound quickly. Added a nice bit of depth to the sound there. Press the filter, go back to the filter controls. Maybe a bit too much of the delay in there, so I'll just turn the mix down so we're hearing more of the dry signal. Less feedback, that's how many repetitions we're getting of the sound. So just parameters to play around with until you get the sort of sound that you're happy with. So before I've added these 2 effects, let me just disable those. I'd like to take the chorus off as well. That's pretty much what it started out life as. And then a bit of chorus to make it a bit bigger and wider. A filter that we've got maybe a little bit more control over, and then delay as well. And all I'm doing is on the filter device, just opening and closing the filter. Again, we've got an LP low pass filter, so we're filtering off all the high end, just leaves us with the low end. And we've turned that simple note pattern into something just a little bit more interesting. Now what we can also do is, over the course of that pattern, we can actually modulate the parameters. We can record in modulation. So rather than doing this in real time, we can record that in and it will play back the automation that we've recorded. So to do this, let me take, for example, the cutoff on the filter. I'm going to hold this button that says auto write. We should go into the pad mode, keyboard pad mode. Hold auto write, and then I'm going to tweak this cutoff. You see it's recorded in the exact motion that I've just made with that rotary, and it's playing that back. If you like that, then great. If not, what you can do is hold a raise and just touch the key, the rotary control that you've used to record that in, and you can see it's just removed that modulator from the pattern window at the bottom there. You can then go in and do it again if you want. So that's how to load effects, play around with parameters, recording automation using the auto write button. That's how you can delete effects as well.